Hello again, everybody. Dr. Glenn with Infinite Wellness, back with our question and answer series. A little bit more stuff today, some information hopefully to help you out. Again, if you are seeing this, if you like us and share us, please, so we can get the information out, I'd be very grateful. And please subscribe.
All right, so today's question is, what small changes would you recommend for a household that is just starting a more holistic journey?
More holistic journey. Okay, that's a very good question. And I get this question quite a bit. What can I do? What small changes can I make? Where do I start? That's usually the biggest one. And so there's a lot of different things that can be done. Obviously, with a holistic journey, we want to change our lifestyle. As opposed to just making I'll do this or, I'll do that. We want to change our lifestyle as a whole. And in particular, we want to look at things that we can do easily, that we can incorporate, that are not just this big, massive, let me start all over and I'll become a healthy person, and I haven't been that good so far. So there's some real basics. I would say the very first basic for most households is to sit back and take a good long look at what are my normals? What am I doing currently? Get a good estimate of what I'm doing. Do I eat out 3 or 4 times a week? Am I eating fast food a lot? Am I exercising at all on a regular basis, or even at a basis at all? Do I exercise? And then, more or less, what things can I add to my regime that will make my dietary considerations better, that'll make my activity levels better? So there's a lot of different little things to incorporate. First, I would look at food. Food is obviously probably, for a holistic journey, the biggest thing we need to start paying attention to is what we put in us. So food is our basic. Avoiding things that are highly processed. In particular, foods that would be in the grocery store that are packaged, especially on shelves in boxes. Frozen foods, not so bad. Fresh foods, as good as possible. But in particular, looking at those food sources. Try to find ways to incorporate fresh meals back into our life. A lot of us as Americans have gone to the concept of convenience for food. And understand, time is valuable. We need to be able to incorporate it into our lifestyle. But looking at things like, what can I make for dinner a couple nights a week? Or how can I make something for lunch that I don't have to stop at McDonald's? Did I just call them out? Sorry. At a McDonald's for my nutrition, because we know that those things don't have a lot of nutrition. So looking at nutrition just from a whole food perspective, try to bring fruits and vegetables back into our diet. A lot of us don't use those. Fruits make great snacks. Vegetables make great fillers, and they clean out our intestines. So food is probably your primary. And looking at that and just trying to say, well, every Friday night we're going to have a home-cooked dinner. Or Monday and Thursday night, we're going to do home-cooked meals instead of eating out. Those are your real basics. The other, of course, is to look into things that you can accommodate, that you can add to your dietary considerations. So if we're eating well, then we also need to look at, well, am I getting proper nutrition? Am I getting enough of the things that I need? So supplementation oftentimes is a good deal here. We need to look at, okay, what am I not getting? If I'm not eating a lot of citrus fruits and a lot of heavy in vegetables, am I getting enough vitamin C? Vitamin C is an antioxidant. It's a natural thing that helps us restore function within the body and break down oxidative stress. There are lots of antioxidants, but vitamin C, the most common one, the one most people know. So that might be something to kind of add into our lifestyle. Can I put vitamin C in my lifestyle? Can I put other antioxidants in my lifestyle to help break down some of the oxidative stress that occurs to me? While on that topic, there are lots of other vitamins that we can look at. That's probably another lecture where we'll get into what are all some of the basic vitamins we can use. There are quite a few. But we're talking about oxidative stress. We need to find ways to reduce the stress in our life. If you're going to live a holistic lifestyle, you must learn to de-stress. Our world is too full of that. We have a lot of stress, work stress, money stress, stress from just everything we're doing. And all of that builds up inside the body and creates a difficulty with a lot of things, in particular digestion. We're overproducing cortisol. Anytime we're stressed, cortisol levels raised, decreases our insulin sensitivity. This gets into that whole endocrine function. Why does my thyroid not work? Why am I gaining weight when I'm eating less? All of that comes into play too. So we're really looking at, okay, how do I decrease my stress level? Which is back to the point I mentioned earlier. The greatest way to relieve stress is Wrong. Exercise. It's always exercise. We need to incorporate exercise into our life. And it needs to be multifold. It can't just be, oh, I do one thing. There is no one great exercise. What's the best exercise to do, Dr. Glenn? There isn't one. There is no one. It needs to incorporate elements of different pieces. One, in particular, muscle tone. No matter your age, no matter the sex, we all need to rely on building and maintaining as much muscle tone as possible. The more muscle mass on a human being, the more we burn fat storage to keep us alive, to keep us functioning. So we need some type of some type of resistance exercise to build muscle. We also need to eat a little more protein to fuel that. We also need cardiorespiratory exercise. Cardio exercise is just good for our heart. Now, do we need to do a whole lot of it? No, most people go way overboard with this. Unless you're training for something specific, heavy-end cardiac exercise breaks down muscle, which is antithesis to what we want to do. But do we need to keep our heart and our lungs functioning? Well, yes. And so we do need to challenge that and test that. But small bouts of intense exercise are better than, oh, I went for a 4-mile walk every night. If I go for a 4-mile walk every night, I'm doing great things for maybe my leg muscles. But my heart and lungs aren't that thrilled with me. And I'm not putting on any muscle tone in my body. If anything, I'm breaking it down a little. So I would prefer that if you walk, it's only for 20 minutes after a meal, and your cardiac exercise be something that's short term. Jump rope for 5 minutes. Do 20 burpees, fast as you can do them. Then rest and recover. Do something that's fast, rapid, creates a cardiac demand. My heart is pounding, I'm sweaty, and I'm breathing hard. So we must bring that into it as well to nourish the heart and lungs, and then have the resistance part to nourish the muscle system of the body so that we maintain the muscle mass. So all those are all portions of things I think that are beneficial into trying to get that holistic lifestyle in. We can add in other things, and we know that we need these as well. 8 hours of sleep, as close as possible. Now, I know everybody doesn't need 8 hours, right? Well, I think you'll find 8 hours is pretty optimal. There's a reason for that. We've found that the body rests through research. We found the body rests the most at 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So once we've been asleep for over 6, we start to get into that deeper sleep. The body's out. And that last hour or so of that 8 hours is very, very beneficial to us. So you're looking at probably a good 8 hours of sleep. If you can't, shoot for at least 7. And then if you have the opportunity and you sleep longer, an 8.5, 9 hour evening is a good thing once in a while. Again, back to bringing that stress load down. If you can't sleep more than 6 hours a night, you have too much stress. That's why you can't sleep more than 6 hours a night. Your brain won't shut down long enough. It wants you awake. You're forcing yourself awake, usually mentally. And so, yeah, you need that good sleep. So those are your basics. I think for anybody looking to begin a holistic lifestyle, those are your real base things. And they don't take a lot. Learning to go to bed at a certain hour and to wake up at a certain time will fix most of your sleep issues. You just have to get into a rhythm and something that works for you so that your body becomes used to it, like any other habit. Same with food. If we get used to having good nights, more nights that we eat at home than we eat out, more holistic food that we cook as opposed to purchase pre-made, then we begin to see that holistic benefit. Adding in vitamins, even if it's just little bits to begin with, little bits at a time to kind of find out, where am I? What am I feeling better with? And so all of those things and de-stressing will bring in a holistic lifestyle just by trying to incorporate each of these little things into our daily routines. Hopefully they won't take a ton of time for you. They won't really mess up the schedule. And in the beginning, they're a challenge. Each one takes a little bit to add. Do I have an extra 20 minutes a day to exercise? Well, you might not think you do. But I'm willing to bet if you found some of the stuff that you do on a regular basis, it's not good for you, like watching me on Facebook for 20 minutes. Go exercise. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad you're watching the video. But please take this to heart. And then tomorrow, instead of watching me again, go do 10, 15, 20 minutes of cardiac exercise. Go to a gym or even at home, use body weight, and do 10, 15 minutes of resistance training. Add those into your day. Sleep just a little longer, whether you think you need it or not. Eat as healthy as you can. Those are my basics.